Would you believe it? She talks about such the silliest trifles, and I don't know. It's just something of man. It just drives me angry. I mean, the first time she came in, I think it was after the funeral ceremony, but she just told me, "Oh, you have to rewind the clock." And for all the 7 years I lived with her, I rewound the clock every single time, and just the first time I forgot. But she would always remind me when it would happen. The second time was, I believe, at the train station. At the train station, she was there in a silk dress, and she wanted her opinion, my opinion on how I look like, and I was being playful with her and asked her, I would marry someone who was just like you. And I don't know, she just talked to me about the most random things, and all of a sudden, once I got on the train, she was just gone.
But perhaps you are telling lies.
I rarely lie.
And in the past, have you seen ghosts before?
Yes, I've seen them, but only once in life. I think she was a serf. Her name was Flika. After her burial, I called out, I think I was like, Flika, my pipe! Because I was asking for my pipe. But then, I totally forgot she was dead. But he came in, and the cupboard opened up, and he gave me the pipe. And he never came back in. I told Martha what happened, but she never believed me. I wanted to have a service for him, but I was too ashamed to do it.
You should go to a doctor.
Okay, without you telling me, I know I am not well. But I believe I am at least 5 times stronger than you are. I didn't ask you whether ghosts exist, but whether you believe that they exist.
No, I won't believe it.
Well, what people generally say, you are ill, so whatever you see is just pure fantasy and doesn't exist. But that's not really logical. I agree that ghosts only appear to the sick, but that proves that they exist and they only appear to the sick. It's not that they're not real.
Nothing of the sort.
What, you don't think so? Okay, but listen to this. Ghosts exist only to the sick for a reason. Because ghosts and fragments are like shreds and fragments of the other world. That the reason they only appear to the sick is because when you are sick, you only think about what is going to happen to you when you pass away. The possibility of dying, where your body will go, how your afterlife will be. When you are healthy, you only think about living in your life, existing for existing, surviving in this world. I thought of this theory a long time ago. If you believe in a future life, you would believe in this too.
I don't believe in the future.
And what if there are only spiders here, or something of the sort? I mean, we always imagine eternity as something beyond our imagination. I mean, something vast, like extremely vast. But why must it be vast? I mean, it could just be one little room, like a bathhouse in the country, black and grimy and spiders in every corner, and that's eternity could be. I mean, sometimes I just think of eternity like that.
Can it be you can imagine nothing more just and more comforting than that?
Juster? Now how can we tell? Perhaps it is just, and you know what? It's what I certainly haven't called it. Only think, half an hour ago, we would consider ourselves enemies. We had unsettled disputes between each other, but we completely thrown that away and put it in the abstract. You know, I was right in saying we were birds of a feather.
Kindly allow me to explain why you have visited me. I have no time to waste. I have to go out.
By all means. Your sister, Dunya, she's being married to Mr. Luzin. Mr. Piotr Petrovich, right?
Can you refrain from questioning about my sister? How dare you utter her name in my presence? If you are Svidrigailov.
Why not? I've come to speak about her. How can I avoid mentioning her?
Very good. Speak. Make it haste.
Well, I'm sure you must have formed your own opinion about this Mr. Luzin. He's a connection of mine through my wife. I mean, if you know him through at least half an hour or so, you know that he is no match for Dunya. Dunya, I just believe that she's sacrificing herself generously and prudently just for the sake of her own family. I fancied that from hearing of who you are, that you would be glad in me assisting her to break this marriage and from her not marrying Mr. Luzin. I mean, now that I know you personally, I am 100% sure that you will agree with me.
All this is very naive. Excuse me. I should have said impudent on your part.
You mean to say that I was seeking my own ends? Don't be uneasy, Raskolnikov. If I were working for my own ends, then I would have spoken out so directly. I'm not quite a fool. I will confess something psychologically curious, though. Just now, defending my love for Dunya, I said I myself was a victim. Well, let me tell you that I have no feeling of love now. Not the slightest. So I wonder myself indeed if I really felt anything.
Through idleness and depravity.
I certainly am idle and deprived, but your sister has such qualities that I cannot even help being oppressed. But as I realize now, that's just all nonsense.
Have you seen that long?
Well, I knew about it before, but I was only perfectly sure of it the day before. Before I came to the city, Petersburg, I still believed in Moscow, though, that I was coming to try to get Dunya's marriage to Luzin stopped.
Excuse me for interrupting you. Kindly be brief. Come to the object of your visit. I'm tired of this. I want to go out.
With the greatest pleasure. Arriving here for my journey, I'd like to make some arrangements. I left my children alone with Anand. They are well provided, and they should be alone. They should be fine on their own. I have taken nothing that Marfa has given me. That's enough. That's enough for me. I right now I want to see Dunya with your acceptance, and if you would like, you can be there while I am there. Just make sure that you tell her that she will not get anything from Mr. Luzin. Then I beg you for all my past unpleasantness. I will make a donation to 10,000 rubles to her, as long as she breaks her ties with Mr. Luzin and she realizes what a mistake she is doing when she marries her.
You are certainly mad. How dare you talk like that?
I knew you'd scream at me, but let me explain. First of all, okay, I am not rich, but these 10,000 rubles, I am perfectly okay with giving this off because I have no need for it, and if Dunya does not accept it, I'll probably spend it in a foolish way. That's first. And second of all, I make this offer with no like underlying motive or nothing attached. There's no small text, something like that. You may not believe it, but in the end, you and Dunya will know. The point is that even I did cause your sister some unpleasantness, and I do respect her, but I'm not giving this money to repay her or to compensate her for the pain and misery that I gave her. I just want to simply help her towards her advantage. I don't want to show her. I want to show her that I have nothing else but to help others. I am not one to cause harm. If there was any self-interest in my offer, I would have not made it so openly or directly. And I should not have offered her only 10,000. I mean, 5 weeks ago, I should have offered more. And it's okay, because besides, I have no intentions of having relationships with her, because I am thinking about marrying a young lady soon. So that should prevent any suspicion of me being in a relationship with her. So in conclusion, let me say that marrying Luzin, she's just taking money from another man, just the same, except with me, there's no downsides. So don't be mad, just think it over coolly and quietly.
I beg you, say no more. This is just unpardonable impertinence.
Not in the least. Then a man may do nothing but to harm his neighbor in this world and is prevented from doing any tiny bit of good? That's absurd. If I died, for instance, if I say I died, do you not accept the money that I willed her?
Very likely she would. Very likely.